Yo, man, let me just jump right into it, man. Fat Joe versus Ja Rule. It officially happened, man. It was a fire battle. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm not a big fan of neither one of the artists, man. So I don't have a favoritism towards neither one, man. Both of these artists, man, I think they both, you know, legends in their own way. But shit, I was just going in just to see a good battle, man, and it definitely was a good battle, man. Fat Joe, he kicked it off with like a bunch of little street shit and all that, and then, you know, Ja Rule was going neck to neck with him. He even played the song that he had with Jay-Z, 2 of them in the early beginning. And Fat Joe, he was bringing that shit back from '93, playing songs from way back then. And then Ja Rule, he played his songs. Ja Rule got tons of hits, man. He was lighting them up with like the little halfway street shit. And then, you know, Fat Joe, he was freestyling. I think he was doing, well, not freestyling, but he was spitting that shit over different beats. He rapped over Shook Ones, killed that shit. On the I'm About My Paper song, he had killed that shit, man. They was going back and forth. Ja Rule answered back with the Holla song, and then after that, that's pretty much 4 rounds worth right there. And in the first 4 rounds, Fat Joe played the Talk to Him Joe, the Boogie Down Joe, all that shit. He had some classic shit. And then Ja Rule played 2 Jay-Z tracks, a song with DMX. Every Ja Rule song had a feature. But other than that, he still killed that shit. But around round 5, that's when he brought out Remy, man. And she came out freestyling, rapping. She rapping to the 187 beat. She had did the MOP song. She was killing that shit, word for. She was doing her thing, man. And she looked super good that night, man. Remy Ma killed that shit. She hands down, to be 100% honest, man. She the best lyricist that was on the stage that night. Considering everybody who was out there, Remy Ma is a beast, man. She an animal. Oh yeah, but I forgot about Jadakiss though. You know, later on though. But anyway, man, she killed that shit, and she was rapping straight at Ja Rule. Fat Joe was going back to back, man. It was a fire segment right there when they performed that song, man. They definitely both legends, man. But you know, she killed that shit 100. Fat Joe killed that shit, and then Ja Rule, he answered back. He had a pretty good comeback. He had the song featuring Christina Milian, Everything We Do. And he brought up at that point how he by himself. At that point, Ja Rule didn't bring out no features. They like at round 5. And then, you know, he killed that song. The crowd was, this when you knew it was a big difference a little bit. The crowd was rocking with all that hip hop and that freestyle shit that Fat Joe and Remy Ma was doing and stuff. But once Ja Rule started getting in his lady bag and shit, with this song really kicked it off. The women in the crowd was fucking with it heavy. This when the change happened right here. This is exactly when the change happened. And right after, that was a great comeback for Ja Rule to do. Right after Remy, he brought Remy out, because when Remy was kind of, I don't feel like she was saving Ja. I felt like it was even until Remy came out, and then she kind of like had the edge. But when Ja Rule answered back with that Everything We Do, featuring Christina Milian, he didn't have to bring her out. The crowd was like kind of singing that word for word, man. They really was fucking with that song. So after that, I mean, you just felt the crowd. The ladies up in there, they was singing that song word for word. That song hit so hard after he responded to Remy that Fat Joe had to come back with the All the Way Up. And you know, that's one of Fat Joe's, you know, top songs right there. And he killed that shit, the All the Way Up. The crowd was rocking with it heavy. And then Ja Rule answered right back with the Living It Up. And the crowd was rocking with that just as heavy. Now I personally do like the All the Way Up song a little bit better, but for that night at Verzuz, they ring off kind of the same. Ja Rule, he pretty much like had the crowd at this point. He was talking to him a lot more, and Ja Rule, Fat Joe, he was definitely saying his thing and coming back with his shit. You know, he was throwing a lot of jabs, and he was getting super disrespectful too, man, especially with the ladies and shit. But it was all funny though. It was definitely funny. But yeah, Ja Rule answered back with Living It Up after Fat Joe played All the Way Up, trying to come back to Ja Rule's Everything We Do. But that after Remy came out, that's trickled to like a chain of events, and Ja Rule kind of just started to take over. And I'm not even a Ja Rule fan like that. I'm not a fan of neither one of them like that. But I wanted Fat Joe to win. I respect the hits from both of them though. I always know they both can spit, and they both legends. I just never had the chance to listen to them like that. But I had Fat Joe winning, man. But at this point, Ja Rule, he super surprised me. But other than that, after the Living It Up, Fat Joe came back with some old song I ain't gonna lie, I didn't know. And the crowd, it seemed like they wasn't really like into it like that either. So Fat Joe had to like kind of switch it up, and he threw on some Big Pun to kind of save him. And it definitely did, man. That's a classic song. R.I.P. to Big Pun. I Don't Want to Be a Player No More featuring Joe, man. It's not too many songs that's gonna beat that, man. That was a fire track. And he definitely needed to play that though. He had to put that on because the crowd wasn't really rocking with that first track like that, man. That's a fact. But then right after that, Ja Rule came in with the Yeah Yeah Thug song or whatever song that was. Yeah Yeah, I guess. And the crowd was rocking with it a little bit, but that ain't gonna be Big Pun and Joe. So Joe, he definitely won that round. That was like one of the clearest rounds Joe won. But after that, he came back with the I forgot what song Fat Joe was, but the beat fire, the beat to go like ooh la la la, whatever, something like that. And that shit was a little fire though. I ain't gonna lie, the beat is fire, but the crowd wasn't really rocking with it like that. The song is fire, and the beat is fire, and the crowd was like they was rocking with it, but you seen the difference when Ja Rule won next, and he brought out Lil Mo and Vita, and they did the I forgot what song they did. It's Ja Rule, but it was some singing shit, and they killed that shit. I thought Lil Mo looked good and stuff too, and Vita, she was up there doing her thing too. She's super skinny, super in shape. It's a lot of things you can mistake her for, but I thought she did her thing as well. But at that point, I think they was on that's the 8th song. They are like round 8 when he brought out Lil Mo. That was his first. Ja Rule didn't bring out nobody into the 8th round. I give him some respect for that, even though every song had a fucking feature, and Fat Joe pointed that out, because Ja Rule was like, let me bring somebody out. I ain't bring nobody out. I ain't do nothing with nobody. And Fat Joe was like, every song you fucking did have a feature. Every song it was, you know what I'm saying? So Ja Rule definitely held it down though when he came back and brought out Lil Mo and Vita, because the crowd was rocking with them full heavy, man. And if you really pay attention to it, this was not the type of crowd that was there for Locks and Dipset, man. It was way more women in this crowd. Way more, man. You heard them chanting and singing the songs with Ja Rule, man. It was a lot of ladies in there that night, man. A lot of them. And they was getting theirs in, man. And Fat Joe, he was like trying to be on like his Jadakiss thing, but he is not Jadakiss. He was trying to like do the, I don't know, man. It just wasn't working out for him, but he was still killing that shit. But after that, he brought Lil Mo and all them back out, man. Ja Rule, Fat Joe was real disrespectful on him. He was calling Lil Mo and Vita, said they was like some dusty bitches, and he was like, Ja Rule need to feed his bitches and all kind of shit, man. He was getting real disrespectful, man. I'm surprised, and even Ja Rule brought it up, man. He was like, I'm surprised you disrespectful like that to the ladies, man. Cause usually Fat Joe he be real, he don't be dissing nobody like that. He a good guy, man. But other than that, man, Fat Joe, he dipped off into well, I don't even know the song. I don't even know the song at all. But this shit was fire a little bit, I ain't gonna lie. The song that Fat Joe played, and we in round 9. He was, I think it said what y'all wanna do or something like that up on there. And a lot of songs that Fat Joe played though had other people's beats. You could tell that he really didn't have the hits to keep up with Ja Rule in this setting with all the ladies, man, on some street shit, some battle shit, some bar shit. Hell yeah, Fat Joe, he'd kill Ja Rule on any day. But the shit, it was
the night was different when Ja Rule started playing them songs for the ladies, man. And once he brought out Lil Mo and all that, but Ja Rule answered back with a song he got with Bobby Brown, the whole Stevie Wonder sample, the Thug Love. That shit was fire, man. They got a whole video to that. That was one of another hit Ja Rule had pulled out his bag. And that song, and the crowd was rocking with it way more than the shit Fat Joe was playing. You just felt it. You heard it. You seen it. Ja Rule was living his best fucking life. All smiles. And Fat Joe looked real fucking worried, man. He looked real concerned. He ain't know what to do, man. The shit was crazy. This Verzuz made me kind of look at shit kind of different, man. You gotta watch who you go against, man, because I was not expecting the ladies to be like showing so much love to them records like that. This was a complete, like I said, this was a completely different crowd than the Dipset and Locks crowd. And Fat Joe was expecting that type of crowd. But that song that Ja Rule played hit so hard that he had with Bobby Brown, and he didn't even bring Bobby Brown out. Like some of Ja Rule's songs that hit the hardest, he didn't even have to bring the person out. That song hit so hard though, Fat Joe had to play All We Do Is Win with DJ Khaled. And even Ja Rule mentioned, like, nigga, this not even your song like that, you know, like, you playing people that's not your song. And he was saying you doing the same thing, so it was a lot of that. But and the crowd was rocking with that. They definitely was. But right after he played that, Ja Rule, he like kind of gave like a shout out to Tupac, because he died and all that. And he was kind of throwing some Tupac music on. He did like a No More Pain sample or whatever. Fat Joe definitely got that round, man. The All I Do, I mean, it's not many songs that's gonna beat the All I Do Is Win. But at this point, this how you know Fat Joe lost, man. At the end of round 10, man. After Ja Rule played that song, the No More Pain, Fat Joe had to take a break, man. He had to go change his outfit or take a shit or something. People say he had to go eat a submarine sandwich. Who knows? No one really knows what he had to do in the back. But he did come out with a different outfit though, but he had to take a huge break. But yeah, man, once they finally got the battle up and running again, and it took a little minute too, they had the DJs out there doing their thing. This fat guy was out there talking about how he would beat cancer and all that, man. Shout out to him. The shit was still a good vibe, man. The crowd was still rocking with the songs they was playing, and meanwhile in the middle and all that. But then Ja Rule and all them came back out. And yes, Fat Joe was fresh as fuck, man. I'm not even gonna lie, man. Fat Joe, his clothes game on a whole nother level, man. And people in the comment section was going crazy too, man. There was a lot of comedians, celebrities up in there. I ain't see as much people that was in the that was there for that Dipset and Locks battle though. It was way more people, but other than that, man, it was still a lot of people up in them comment sections and up in that stadium, man. The shit was fire. But look, man, they came back out. Ja Rule, he came out with his Murder song. I remember, I forgot the official name for that, but that shit was fire. The beat fire. I think it kind of like got like a little Jamaican lady on there or something like that. But the shit wasn't really hitting like that when he came back out. And one thing that was kind of set the tone a little bit to this was the Fat Joe, his man, the fat guy who beat the cancer. He was like, all right, this is round 2. Let's get into round 2. So it kind of makes you feel like, wait, man, okay, Fat Joe, he can come back. Here we go. This round 2, and this 10 more songs. Because they did that literally at 10 songs. Then when they had the break. So 10 more songs to go. Fat Joe can get in his bag and come out on top. So Ja Rule comes out, performs the Murder song, wasn't really hitting like that. So he had to dip off into the song he had with J-Lo. He had to. Because he had to come out and he had to, because the Murder song wasn't hitting like that. So he dipped off to the song with J-Lo, and the crowd was kind of rocking like that, you know, a little bit with it. You know, they was rocking with it. At that time, though, he had Fat Joe had to come back with a fire song. Shit, I don't even know. But it wasn't even really hitting like that. I didn't know the fucking song, but it was fire though. It was a fire song. I definitely rock with the song that Fat Joe played, but I didn't even really know it like that. But it was fire, but the crowd wasn't really rock with him like that. And that song wasn't enough to be the murder song Ja Rule had and the song he had with J-Lo. It just wasn't enough. So Ja Rule comes back. Round 12. That was round 11. Like he come back with I wanna be your chick with Ashanti. With Ashanti. But no, she didn't come out at this point though. This is like one he performed he played the song that I wanna be your chick with Ashanti, but he did not bring it out. It was fire though. The crowd was fucking with it so heavy, man. Fat Joe had to bring out the Cool and Dre dude, man, and they performed some fire ass shit. The Cool and Dre guy, man, he was killing that shit. Everybody was fresh and clean doing their thing. The new flex or whatever. The shit was fire. But it wasn't really like enough to go to beat the Ashanti song the way that crowd was rocking with all them ladies and shit. It was kind of weird. And shit, and you know, people was going live like Busta Rhymes and Swiss Beats and shit. They was going live and all that. The shit was crazy, man. It was a bunch of people going live that was actually up in the event themselves, man. But he played that song with Cool and Dre, and they killed that shit, man. But I still had Ja winning that round, man. The crowd was fucking with it. We had Verzuz, and Ja kept bringing up, what's all these songs you playing, man? We here for the hits. But both songs are still fire though. So the next song they played was the Fat Joe, the ass up, face down song. And you know, the crowd was rocking with that a little bit. And you know, Ja Rule answered back with some shit I didn't even know. And the crowd wasn't really rocking with it like that at all. You know, Fat Joe definitely killed him. Fat Joe had in that round. Fat Joe definitely had his moments where he seen that he clearly won. It wasn't like a complete slaughter, a complete dog walk. No, you can't really say Ja Rule just flat out murdered Fat Joe, but he definitely put them paws on him, and he did his thing, man, and kept that shit, I guess, classy for the ladies, man, because Fat Joe was talking, he was saying a lot of bitches and all that. He made Fat Joe switch up his whole demeanor, man. Fat Joe had to come out and say, like, because he had called Lil Mo and Vita some dusty bitches earlier, talking about he need to feed his bitches and all that. He had came back out and said, you know, shouts out to Lil Mo, she a living legend and all that. He ain't say nothing about Vita though, but he had to clear that up, man, because Lil Mo, man, she can sing, man. She was singing live. When she was singing, they was cutting the beat off and letting her get her acapella joint on, man. She was killing that shit, killing it. But after Ja Rule played the song that the crowd wasn't really rocking with, Fat Joe played another round. But yeah, Fat Joe had another round. I guess the song he had like with Chris Brown. And Ja Rule, he was slow, like so turned up and shit, and he knew he was winning. He had like kind of sung some of the song with Fat Joe, the Chris Brown part. And you know, they was just up there doing their thing and all that. And then Fat Joe, you know, the song wasn't really hitting like that, man. It wasn't. Even though it had Chris Brown, the crowd was rocking with it, but compared to what Ja Rule was playing, but it definitely won that round, man. So you know, Ja Rule after that, he came back with Smile For Me, and he was talking a lot of shit, and Fat Joe was pretty much talking about how he'll play Candy Shop. And some people was already talking about how he might bring 50 Cent out. Some people was actually expecting Fat Joe to bring 50 Cent out. They both had a lot of snappy comebacks and shit too. Fat Joe kept saying, don't make me play Candy Shop. I made the beat. Don't make me play Candy. And Ja Rule was like, that shit was garbage. And I ain't gonna lie, man, I'm a 50 fan. I rock with 50. Candy Shop there ain't no shit you wanna play. That wasn't really a fucking good song like that, man. And he kept bragging about that while he was already losing. It kind of made him look kind of bad, man. But you know, Ja Rule, the Smile For Me, the crowd was rocking with it. But he still like lost. But other than that, he played this one that kind of got weird. He played Ja Rule at the end, like round for 15 or some shit. I don't know exactly what round, but Ja Rule, man, this one it kind of got weird, man. It reminded me why I'm not a Ja Rule fan. He pointed out different sections of the crowd was talking about, you say cry, and you say cry, the West Coast say cry, then I want the down south to say cry, then I want the East Coast to say cry, and then we all gonna say cry together when I turn the mics to y'all, and then it was shit just super fucking corny, man. But some of the crowd participated, some of the crowd did, but shit wasn't really hitting like that at all. Definitely not. But that was after he played clapback and all that shit. But anyway, Fat Joe had to bring out Nelly, man. Nelly killed that shit. His whole presence, just him being on the stage, definitely helped out. He even performed the song and he performed Hot in there. What the fuck that got to do with Fat Joe? And the crowd was super fucking turned up when he performed that Hot in Here song, man. He got love, man, like Ja pretty much been getting all night, but that would have been probably a decent matchup the way that crowd was set up, like Nelly versus Ja Rule or something, man, for the ladies or some shit, man. If you a street rapper or you about them bars and shit and like that, and you get, man, I suggest you don't go against a dude that got a bunch of strikes for the ladies, man. It's not gonna work out, especially if they in the building. Cause it didn't. Nelly killed that shit with Hot in There. And Nelly ain't even got no bars like that, but the crowd was rocking with that shit so heavy, man. This is a different type of Verzuz, man. This is a different type of crowd. This was not the Dipset and Lox crowd. But that Nelly was hitting so fucking hard, and that crowd was fucking with Nelly so hard, was rocking with Nelly so hard. Ja Rule had to do it, man. He had to do it. He had brought out Ashanti. He had to do it. And Ashanti was killing that shit, man. And that's the main time really Busta Rhymes and Swizz Beatz was going live and shit too. They was like, is it over now? Is this a body? Can who y'all got winning? Because they was pretty much saying it was over for Fat Joe, man. The crowd was rocking with Ashanti heavy, and she was looking super fucking good, super thick, super just clean, super fresh. She was doing her thing, man. She looked good, man. She looked super good. She was super thick. Ashanti was killing that shit. It was no competition, man. Ashanti was so much fire. Fat Joe had to use her for the song they had together, man. Ashanti was killing that shit so hard, killed it. But she killed it more with Murder Inc. That song she had with Fat Joe was fire too, but it wasn't better than the one she had with Ja Rule. But it's fucking close, man. You could down there say it's a tie. But Ashanti, they ain't never been done in Verzuz. That's a Verzuz. That's a Verzuz new thing right there, man. She performed on both sides, man. Some people would consider her a traitor, though. You know what side you gonna be on, man. She definitely helped Fat Joe, but at that point, Ja Rule was like, just go ahead, man. I'm beating them anyway. But after that, Fat Joe came. That hit so hard with Ashanti. That hit so fucking hard. That hit so fucking hard right there. When he brought out Ashanti, and then Fat Joe used Ashanti. That was a good counter move too to bring, because she was already on the stage. Why not? So Ja Rule, he came back with another song with Ashanti, the Always on Time. She had another one, man. They just remind you of how great them two was together, man. They had some fire hits, man. They could have did a whole album together, man. That's a fact. So, but that shit hit so hard. The Always on Time with Ashanti. It was at that point, it was over. It's like Ja Rule had his foot on his neck. It was so crazy. Fat Joe had to come back with the Make It Rain. And this round 17 right here. He had to come back with the Make It Rain. And when Make It Rain came out, that shit was fire. It was ringing off in the clubs. It was getting played on the radio. But for some reason, when he played it there after Ja Rule and Ashanti played that on time, and seeing their chemistry and them doing their thing like that, it didn't hit hard like that. It didn't even sound that good. People was wanted Lil Wayne to come out. They was like, that's the only way Fat Joe could be saved right now. He got to bring Wayne out for this, and he didn't. You seen hella people in the comments talking about like he got to bring Wayne out. That's the only way you gonna counteract Ashanti, and she just helped you out. She had like a whole set up there. The shit was crazy. But yeah, Shanti was just too much. She was just too much. She was too thick. The crowd was rocking with her too heavy. Shit, Busta Rhymes and Swizz Beatz and a bunch of people wasn't live around the time she came out. Like, it's over. Shanti out here looking super good. She killing that shit. She, man, Fat Joe. It was just too much of Shanti, man. She killed that shit so much. It just threw the whole vibe off. And when he played Make It Rain, it wasn't. That's a fire song. But now that when you heard it again, it kind of didn't age that well, man. People was waiting for him to bring Lil Wayne out. Everybody was like, where the fuck is Lil Wayne at? He talking about he had all that star power and shit, man. But it didn't work out, man. But right after that, Ja Rule, you know, he had to do it. You know, he was when he was in the Shanti bag. He performed another song, but Shanti took a break. She killed that shit so much, she had to take her a break. She took her a little time off. The Queen had to rest for a little bit. And he performed, I forgot what fucking song it was, but the shit was hitting off. The shit was so fire. And the crowd was rocking with it so heavy. Ja Rule, he ended it off so crazy with Ashanti. And I'm glad he saved her for last, man, because she a great main event. She a great closer, man. She closed that shit like the fourth quarter. Killed that shit. Fat Joe had to answer back. And this was his last song. We in round 18. They pretty much only won 19 rounds. But if you think about it, he had 20 songs. He's mixed a few up in between the rounds. Ja Rule just played one song each round, you know, he kept it just like that. They both did their thing, but Ja Rule killed that shit with so much. Fat Joe had to answer back with the lean back, man. You know, bring Remy back out. And Remy was killing that shit. She was looking good. She was looking thick. And you know, and Fat Joe had gave out purses. He bought this how you know he lost, man. He was buying purses. He bought a Shanti one. He bought Remy Ma one. He bought them some exclusive shit too. Shit, $1,000 shit, that designer shit, man. I think they bought him some Birkins or something. I don't know. But anyway, you can tell he dropped some bags on them purses, man. And he didn't get Lil Mo and Vita one. He called them some dusty bitches. And he ain't get them no purses. So they got, man, Fat Joe, man. He definitely out here doing this thing on his pimp shit, man. But they performed that lean back. The crowd was rocking with it. Remy killed that shit. She in that 740 Fizz Eye. Killed up that shit. There was a lot of celebrities there that night too, man. A whole bunch. Too many to name, man. And he killed that shit heavy. But he still lost that round, man. But no, I wouldn't say that though, man. He had Remy out there doing that thing, man. And he killed that shit. He won that round. Fat Joe won that round, man. It ain't too many songs that's gonna be lean back, man. And like he said, that shit had like 50. It was on #1 for like 50 weeks or some shit like that. It's only like 52 weeks in a year or some shit, man. The shit was fire, man. Remy killed that shit. Shanti was out there. Ja Rule was doing his thing, man. But lean back definitely was a good way for Fat Joe to end it, man. And after that, though, it was pretty much over with. After he played that lean back, Ja Rule went to New York, man. Got the whole crap amped up and shit. And yeah, that nigga did take his shirt off too, man. He took his shirt off and was running around, man. He's still in shape too. I was surprised to see that, man. What if Ja Rule was like 300 pounds or something now, man? The shit would have been crazy, man. But he's still in shape, running around, got the energy. He performed like he's 20 years old again, man. The shit was fire. And he ain't had to take a break like Crack either. Like Joey Crack. But anyway, man, he threw that New York on. We already know, man. That's a classic all around the board. It's a New York anthem. It's a hip-hop anthem. It's a classic. It's one of the best songs in the history of rap music, man. Fat Joe on that shit. Ja Rule on that shit. Jadakiss on that. The chorus, it's a classic chorus, classic hook, classic verses. Fat Joe dissed Roy Jones on that hook. Ja Rule was pretty much going at 50 on the hook. And who knows who Jadakiss was going at, man. They all could have been going at. This is the song that sparked the beef. It was just, this song was a fire song. This song got a lot of history to it, man. But they performed that song, they ended to show off like that. Even brought Jadakiss out, the legend himself, the top 5 dead or alive, and that's just off one LP. They brought Jada out, man, and he killed that shit. It was a great moment, man. They to see all of them, everybody else. Can you look at that picture? We talking Remy Ma, we talking Fat Joe, Ja Rule, Jadakiss. I seen Nelly was out there, Lil Mo. It was too many celebrities, too many classic artists and legends out there, man, that was doing their thing that came together, man. It was a fire track, fire night. The song, the way they closed it out, the way they started, the whole battle was fire, man. Definitely a classic. Top 5 versus battle all day, man. That you gotta give it that, man. But yeah, it was definitely fire. They closed it out, man. Ja Rule definitely beat Fat Joe. No question, man. No question at all, man. Murder Inc. beat Terror Squad that night. That's a fact. And Fat Joe, man, he was throwing out a lot of insults, man. Definitely, but it was at the end of the day, it was all love, man. Definitely make sure y'all watch that battle again, man. Run them numbers up, man. Stream that shit. Real bars, real hip hop. That shit was fire, man. Facts.